This man and his son slept in a public restroom every day. Whenever someone knocked on the door, he would cover his son's ears and then hold it shut with his foot. He didn't want his son to feel the cruelty of life. The man's name was Smith. He used all his savings to buy a large number of machines, intending to sell them to hospitals. Unfortunately, the financial crisis hit. No hospital is willing to spend a lot of money to buy these devices, so almost overnight, Smith was bankrupt. Even more unfortunate is that the landlord always comes to urge him to pay the rent. Faced with 3 months of overdue rent, Smith didn't know what to do. One day, he saw that everyone he passed by was smiling. He quickly asked a man what his occupation was, and the man said he was a stockbroker. Smith took one look at the man's sports car and decided he wanted the same job, so he took action immediately. He came to a company and submitted his resume, but because he had not attended college, the company ruthlessly rejected him. But Smith didn't give up. He waited at the company's door every day. Hard work paid off, and Smith finally met the company's HR manager. He handed him his resume with hope, but the manager still ruthlessly closed the door. But Smith was still unwilling to give up, and he waited outside for a full month. Finally, he met the boss of the company, but the boss was very busy now, so he asked Smith to talk to him next time. To seize the opportunity, Smith lied, saying he was going to the same place, so he got in the same car with his boss. On the way, Smith repeatedly introduced himself to the boss, but the boss didn't even glance at him, completely absorbed in his Rubik's Cube. Smith seemed to see an opportunity. He said he could solve the Rubik's Cube, and the boss finally became interested in him. Then, Smith began to spin the cube bit by bit, captivating even the taxi driver. As Smith completely solved the cube, the taxi arrived at its destination. The boss took the Rubik's Cube and got out of the car silently. Smith was very confident that he would be able to get the job. Unfortunately, the boss didn't pay for the fare and checked his wallet. The fare was $18, which was far more than his balance. So, at an intersection, Smith quickly opened the car door and ran. When he returned home, he discovered his son was missing. Upon checking, he discovered his wife had taken him and all his belongings. Just then, he received a call from his HR manager, inviting him for an interview. That was the only good news he received. The next day, the landlord knocked on Smith's door and told him he was being evicted. Smith immediately offered to help the landlord paint the walls as a partial payment, and the landlord agreed. But his misfortunes weren't over yet. The police found Smith and, for not paying the fare, took him to the police station. 24 hours later, the police released Smith. With less than an hour left until his interview, Smith had no time to fix his appearance and rushed to the office. In case anyone is wondering, the movie is called The Pursuit of Happiness.